What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down some of the best route running from NFL Week 3. We're going to be talking about how to attack a blind spot and get separation on a post, how to get some separation off the line when you're running a slant against press, and then we're going to be talking about how to run this Stutter Go. Okay, so I hope this gives you guys some value. I hope this learns. You guys can learn some of the techniques based behind these routes and some of the technical points to make your route running as efficient as possible. And guys, if you're a receiver and you want to get better hands, you want to be automatic with your catch, and you don't have a quarterback to throw you freaking 1,000 footballs every single day, check out that link in the description. It says improve your hands in 30 days, full 30-day program, all designed to improve your grip strength, hand-eye coordination, and give you repetition drills to improve your hands. Let's get started. So first things first with this blind spot at play here is we want to be able to push vertical. Now, this is a great way to get separation on a fade is where you close the gap with this guy, you attack his inside, you give him this head fake to the inside, trying to self-post, try to get him to sit down, and then we burst back up to the outside, right? So let's watch this thing full speed. So you see how he comes out here, gives this head fake, and then pushes 3 steps to that blind spot, right? That makes that DB think he's going vertical. You give this vertical set. That's what they call this. You set vertical here, you give this little head and shoulder fake, selling this post, and we're trying to get behind this DB. That's what we're trying to sell to beat him over the top, right? This is a great way to run a fade against zone. That's what you guys kind of have to do. You got to close the gap, step on his toe, attack his weak hip, and try to give him a head fake to the inside. Now, what this is doing here is we want to get to this blind spot because that's where that DB's most vulnerable, right? That's where is in that weakest position. And if that quarterback throws a good ball and it's out on time and we're accelerating off the break, this really should be unguardable, right? So you see how when he comes here and he makes this step, makes this jab, he pushes up right now. Let's push. Let's explode off of that cut. We're driving off of this cut for 3 steps. 1, 2, 3. Now, we're trying to force him. It would be perfect. It'd be ideal if he sped turn out of there, right? And he turned all the way because he wanted to play this fade. But he's in a good position. He's staying over the top. He's stacking him, so that's fine. But when we could get to this blind spot, we get that DB to hesitate because he's going off a feel. And you see how much he's having to look over that shoulder. That's when this DB's going to be like, okay, I got to feel where he's at. I got to go off a feel. I got to go off of instincts. And when we could get him to be there and we could throw a hard cut with my head and shoulders to the outside, we get him to hesitate a little bit and sit on that fade. Now it's important, though, that so what? I got some separation. So what? I attack this blind spot. When I come off of this break, I got to accelerate off this thing. I got to accelerate to the post. So you see how Cooper's running those arms and he's exploding off this break. That's how you keep that separation, right? It's so anybody could get separation, but can you keep that separation against a good DB who works these situations? Because DBs, here's the thing, they're going to get beat, right? DBs know that going in that, hey, this is, I'm guessing, and 100% of the time, I'm not going to be right. Or like 50-50, right? That's what I'm trying to say. Like 50% of the time I'm going to be right, 50% of the time I'm going to be wrong. So they're going to lose, but they work their recovery all the time, and that's what makes a good DB. He's able to recover on stuff like this. He's able to stay calm, so we got to make sure that we don't allow him to recover. But when I decide to make that cut, I explode off of that leg. I explode to the middle of the field so I can make sure I get this play, and that's a great catch here by Amari Cooper. Let's watch this thing full speed one more time. So again, using that vertical set to push to that blind spot, so we give that jab to the inside, trying to self-post, push to the blind spot, try to get him to feel fade, trying to get him to sit on it, and then breaks this thing off. Let's watch this thing full speed one more time. So he's coming off here and bursts up, gives this head fake, 1, 2, 3, breaks to the blind spot, explodes out. Great route here by Amari Cooper. Okay, so now, first thing here is going to be this next release here by Allen Robinson. So we're going to be talking about this triple step release that he uses and how sudden his feet can be and why having sudden feet is important because that causes a reaction out of this DB. Okay, so let's watch this thing full speed. So he comes off here, 1, 2, and he throws this 1, 2, gets that DB to almost freeze. You want to freeze him and then leave him. And it's the same principles apply with acceleration like we were just talking about. So you see how he comes off here? He goes 1, 2, 3. And you see how quick his feet are able to exchange. He's not dragging his feet either. He's picking up his feet and he's shooting it down. That first step, like that 1, so he goes right, left, right. You almost want to think in 3s on this release. I feel like that's easier to understand when you have that first step to kind of give you that balance and shoot you out rather than just thinking 1, 2. So he comes off here, gives that little step, then he goes 1, 2, 3. And that 2, 3 is violent. But that first step kind of serves for balance, 1, and then 2 throws, and then 3 he pushes back. And you see how much he's shaking that upper half. And you see how he's turning his whole body, but he's staying in an explosive position. Low man's going to win, right? You hear that phrase a lot in football. And when we're in this low explosive position right here, and this DB's sitting high and he's sitting at that outside leg, we're going to be able to produce more energy and get more explosion off the line. So this is a great job here by Robinson working this 1, 2. He comes off, again, 1, 2, 3, and you see where he's pushing. You guys always want to create energy off that inside part inside arch of your foot, and you see how he's not stepping inside of his frame. He's really working to step outside of this DB's frame because that's what's going to get him to move. If you guys just step and you take these 2 little quick steps and you're inside of his frame, he's not going to move because that's not threatening him. We're trying to threaten him with just a 1-2, push vertical, and maybe push out. Maybe I've sold this a couple times before. Maybe I'm trying to get him to turn his hips, but that's exactly what we do. And I flip my shoulders. I'm violent with my shoulders, and that's what gets this DB to shoot to the outside. Now, again, you guys see here. Let's say this DB was able to get hands, but we still got him off balance. What hand do you have to beat off the line of scrimmage if you're trying to take an inside release? You got to beat that inside hand. You got to beat that right hand. That's the hand that you got to focus on. That's the hand that we got to beat. So when he's here, Robinson does a great job of just avoiding. We don't have to beat it if we don't need to because we got him so much off the line. But let's say he was able to get physical. You could just rip underneath with that right arm, or you could just swat and then shoot over the top with the right arm again. So it's very important that you guys understand which arm you got to beat, because if you could get him to lean to the outside, you swat that hand, and he still maybe recovers with his left hand, he's still going to be trailing you, and you're still going to get separation, and you still got off a press and kept the timing with your quarterback. So again, we got to make sure that my feet are sudden, because that's what gets a reaction, and that's what gives me some explosion. We step outside of the guy's frame. We're pushing off that inside arch, and you're throwing your body, not just opening up your hips and maybe throwing a little head and shoulder fake. You're throwing your whole body to this fake to get him to sit outside, and then now here, what were we talking about? So what? We got space. Anybody can get separation. I'll say this again. There are a lot of quick receivers. There are a lot of quick guys that can all create space. They can all create separation, but can we keep the separation? You see so many guys just dog a dude off the line, and then they stand up and they just jog. That's not going to get you any space. We got to get this guy off his platform, get him on this outside leg or opened up his hips or whatever. Then I got to accelerate. And when I can accelerate and continue to drive over the middle, we're not allowing him to make a play and speed turn on this thing. Imagine if he's here and he speed turns and we're kind of cruising. Maybe we're keeping it skinny. I'm not driving my arms. He makes this play all day long. So we got to make sure I continue to drive over the middle of the field, continue to get space, catch, and then let's burst up field and make this play. It's a great route here by Robinson. Let's watch it again, full speed one more time. So he comes off here, 1, 2, 3, throwing that body, quick, sudden feet. That's what gets you that separation. Great route here by Robinson. Okay, so now we're going to be talking about the stutter go. And main thing is we're just going to talk about how you guys should be able to drop on a stutter go. So let me fast forward this a little bit. So you see how we're here. This receiver's coming out, and he's closing the gap with this DB, trying to step on his toes, trying to attack that weak hip, and we want to try to get him to have a reaction on this thing. We want to try to get him to stop. We want to try to get him to bite and shoot down. So what I have to do is I got to be violent with my hips, right? Because when I'm violent and I can cut on a dime, or I can just sell a cut on a dime, that's what gets more of a reaction out of a DB, because he's like, oh shit, that was a quick, you know what I mean? That was a quick break. Let's try to drive on this thing because I don't want to get beat underneath, right? So that's exactly what we do here, and this is a great route because you see how he's in stride. He doesn't slow down. He stays in stride. Snap. And you see how he drops his hips right now. And when you can drop, that's going to cause the DB to drop, right? Because when we drop my hips, that DB is going to want to break on this thing, and he's going to stop, and he's going to try to come back downhill. So when we drop like this here, it's important that when we get that DB to stop his feet, we're able to just kick up his feet and go. And you see how he works down. He keeps his head down to widen this gap with this DB. So what? Again, like we talk about, acceleration is so dang important after you make that move. So we drop my hips, I'm violent, I give him a 1, 2, 3 or 1, 2, 3, 4, and he gets him to sit, and now I keep my head down and I burst up field because I know I got to widen this gap with him. I know the ball's going to be with some air. I know I'm going to be able to go run it down. So I got some time, and that's exactly what this receiver does. He's able to work up field and make this catch over the top. Great route. Let's watch it again, full speed one more time. So again, pushing vertical. I'm dropping my hips violently. I'm trying to draw this DB in. I'm not giving him an indicator. I'm not slowing down. I'm not just taking 2 little quick steps that aren't going to get him. You want to drop your hips to really try to draw this dude in and then accelerate upfield. Let's watch it again, full speed one more time like I said. So he drops right now, gets him to stop those feet, gets him to try to break or sit on that comeback or that curl, and then we explode upfield. Great route. All right, guys, I really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Again, if you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to leave those in the comments. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. And also, if you guys want to improve your hands, you want to become a better pass catcher, check out that link below in the description where it says improve your hands in 30 days. I'll see you guys next time.